Here we go. We're rocking. So, I appreciate everybody being on. I appreciate if I can see faces. I love that aspect of communicating. It is naturally lost when you're not face to face, but I think we're getting used to this process here, and it's actually awesome. I don't have to worry about any of you sneezing on me or coughing or breathing on me. Right, Wells? Right? I don't have to worry about none of that. I can just focus on doing what I do. So in any case, today I'm going to be discussing the RPO approach to recruiting. Let me bring it up. Man, we have so many great things happening in this hierarchy in this team, and we are putting a system together that allows us to really just capitalize on everything, guys. If we're not using that system, I don't know what you're doing. It's just silly not to, right? So, in preparing for this training, I think I listened to Shay and Jen Lee and Josh on recruiting, and I actually picked up, Ian, a training that I had in 2008 from Samir and Shaq and some of the things that were going over, and I just came across it. Look, again, guys, this is years and years and years of just dealing with people, understanding the language of human nature. Understand, guys, this is more than just life insurance investments, none of that, all that stuff. It's about people, our product. And Josh said it recently. Our product is people, right? And that's whether you're hiring, training, developing people, or helping them with a financial plan, right? So don't ever forget that. And you have to learn and understand how to do that. So let's get right to it. Let me see here. Okay. So as I mentioned, this is not a technical training. There's a whole bunch of great information on our YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed, do so. Not to subscribe to that YouTube channel is just silly. I'm not going to go through necessarily the scripts on how to overcome objections and things like that. We'll cover a few things here and there, but this is not a training to offer that. Our goal is to provide the intangibles on how to become a pro on recruiting here, and ultimately pros get paid, Rob. Pros get paid. Amateurs do not. So, you understand the premise. Now, here's some intangibles. I want to start with this. Obviously, smiling in and of itself is a tangible thing. You can do that. You can force yourself to do that. But I want to take it a step further, right? Becoming a pro is about the details. And in the details of smiling, you got to smile with a purpose. It can't be fake. Anybody ever had, maybe at a wedding or at a graduation or a mitzvah or whatever it is that you do, you smile so much for pictures that after a while, it looks fake. Like you just kind of open your mouth, you smile, it hurts. And, you got to smile with a purpose when you're dealing with people. It has to be a genuine aspect of it, right? You got to be poised. You can't crack under pressure. That's why I love sports. You think about Tom Brady and what he accomplished, what he has accomplished. And Dante, you'll get this, right? Donald wouldn't know. He's not really an athlete, but you'll get this. When you think about, 21 years in the league, 21 years in the league. Out of those 21 years, 14 of them, he actually went to the playoffs. 14 times. And out of the 14 times, 10 of them to the Super Bowl. Straight through the Super Bowl. So 60% chance of him going to a playoff run. Out of that, 10 times or a 70+% chance of getting to the championship game, and 70% of actually winning it. Think about that. Right? To me, Michael Jordan was the top of the top. He was the GOAT of GOATs. I think he's been surpassed finally by Tom Brady. I never thought I'd be saying that. I think he has been surpassed by Tom Brady. And one of the major things is he is a pro's pro. He can sit. If you notice, he's not the best athlete, not even close when it comes to quarterbacks. He doesn't have the speed, the arm strength. He was never known for his legs or running. I don't think I've ever seen him run, right? But no one can understands the game like he does. And how does he do it? Preparation. He prepared, when he first started in the league, somebody said about him, He would watch film until he gets migraines, until his head hurts so much that, give me a second, there's a few people trying to get in, I apologize. Until he'll keep watching video after video until he can't anymore. His eyes are bulging out. His headaches are just huge and hot, right? And but that's what it's about, is becoming a pro, right? Controlling your emotions, conversations, and or responses. When I first started and people would say, oh, that's a pyramid, man, I would jump down their throat, right? I would talk about, I used to be called the breather. Remember that, Dante? At the office. I mean, I would give an hour dissertation on one little topic. I would literally, when we would do calls, in the morning, now we call them virtual office, right? But we would do Steam calls. One Steam call would take me like 30 minutes. I think I'll do the interview on a Steam call, right? But learning how to control that conversation across the board, control how you respond. And it really starts with the right questions to ask, right? That's becoming a pro, understanding human nature, right? Recently, I think maybe a couple of weeks ago, Shay talked about that, the STAR program, right? Which involves the how human beings work, right? The S being stability, where you have an individual who's more organized, predictable. He's more traditional, right? They like things in order. The challenge with being an S is, understanding the numbers. They don't really grasp the numbers because they want everything systematic. They don't really get the whole perspective on the law of large numbers, right? Then you have the T, or the theory-based individual, right? Where they want to understand everything. They're very technically inclined, right? And the challenge for them is, they try to talk over people, right? They think the intelligence is the key. It's a factor, the talent, right? But guess what? They get around to doing nothing. That's one of the challenges. The A is an action-oriented person who is just full go 100% all the time, doesn't stop. But an A personality, one of the challenges is like being an octopus on skates. Think about that. They're just sliding all over the place, right? They're not focused. And when you don't have focus at the right time, you get nowhere, right? That's the challenge. And then you got the relationship kind of person who is a kumbaya type of person, wants to hug everybody. They must hate the pandemic because you can't hug nobody anymore, right? But that kind of individual, the challenge is they don't hug anybody. So they're not as likely to try to upset somebody. And guess what? Sometimes you have to. Shaq said to us I'll never forget it.
They can't sing.
Shaq mentioned, what was it that he said? I lost my train of thought. In regards to being in a relationship, what was I talking about? Help me out.
You gotta upset some people sometimes.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. Thanks, Donna. I appreciate that. When you think about, Shaq said a long time ago, if you're not turning people off, you're not turning the right people on, right? Becoming a pro is about that sometimes, right? And then you can't take things personal, man, right? Don't take it personal. People have to live their life. They have to make their own choices, right? And last, you got to know thyself, as Socrates says. You got to understand who you are, your purpose, your game plan, your goals, your dreams, things you're going for. You have to know and understand that. Okay, so don't believe the hype. Here's some questions you might have been asked at some point, right? These are concerns that people might have brought up to you at some point, right? Anybody ever heard, is this an MLM, right? A multi-level marketing company, right? Is it a pyramid scheme? Do I have to recruit? Do you make money when you recruit? Oh, and if so, how many people do I have to or need to recruit? These are natural concerns and questions that people have. Look, one of the best, almost a year to the date, February 20th of 2020, on the YouTube channel, I want you to look up Samir's training on Are We an MLM? It's a 22-minute training. Amazing. One of the best things I've ever heard in relation to our company and Are We an MLM? Right? Listen to that training on that. It's great. right? It will cover and it will give you an understanding of who we are and what we're about, right? Are we a pyramid? Do I have to recruit? Look, as far as do you have to recruit, obviously the answer is no. This is financial planning and services, man. You can make 100, 200 grand. I was just talking to Jim Quinn here, who's in my office here in New York. We share the office. He's been doing this for 29, almost 30 years. Last year, he recruited, I think he licensed maybe 3 to 4 people, one of them including his daughter, right? Think about this, Donald. He licensed about 3 to 4 people, including his daughter, and last year he made $367,000 in the last 12 months. 367. So do you have to recruit? Nope. He has $60 million in assets under management. That's how he makes his money. So you don't have to recruit in this business to make money. Right? Recruiting is a process, and you have to have a reason to. Now, for me, it's like Shaq said yesterday in the morning in training. I come here for overrides. If that's your goal, then yes, you have to recruit. Right? You got to first determine what is your destination. I always say to people, going north versus south, west, or east, inherently, there's nothing wrong with it until you set a destination. If your goal is to get to California, for most of us on the East Coast, then west is right. North and south is wrong. You have to determine what your goals are, right? That's the destination. And then that will allow you to determine what everything else you have to do, right? Do you make money when you recruit people? No, that's also not true, right? You can go out and recruit 100 people. If nobody gets licensed or nobody goes on appointments, guess how much you're making? Nothing. So recruiting in and of itself does not help you make money here. Right? There has to be a process in place. I think it was Shaq or Samir, I forgot who it was, a long time ago said, and Dante, you might remember, is it possible to recruit too many people? And the answer is yes, if you don't have a system in place to train them. And that's one thing in this hierarchy you don't have to worry about, man. There's a system in place, right? How many people do you need to recruit? Well, that goes back to the point of what is your destination? What is your goal? Right? How much passive income do you want to earn? Do you want to earn passive income? That will answer that. So, our responsibility is say, we got to change the perception. Samir, in his training that he put together for the We Are an MLM, he says this: Primerica, the company, does not need to change, but to some extent, the perception of our company needs to change. And that is where we're looking for pros. That's the point. I was Googling yesterday, just recruiting, and I put images, and here's some of the things I saw, guys. I love this stuff. Think about it. Bill Gates, it's a numbers business. There is no secret. I simply showed my plan to 1,200 people. 900 said no. I signed up 300 people. 85 actually did something. 30 took it seriously. And 11 made me a multi-millionaire. For a second there, I thought he was in Primerica. That sounds like us. Think about that. This is Bill Gates, one of the wealthiest people in the world. Right? He just did it in the IT with Microsoft. Right? Recruiting is an art. You have to be serious about recruiting as you are about coaching. Great things in business are never done by one person. They're done by a team of people. Steve Jobs, the late Steve Jobs. Greatness is done by a team of people. You are limited when you're by yourself, always. I think it was Henry Ford that said, I'd rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own. Right? Recruitment is marketing. If you're a recruiter nowadays and you don't see yourself as a marketer, you're in the wrong profession. If you're not marketing, you're not in it to win it. You are marketers by nature. Right? Embrace that. There's nothing wrong with that. You're running a business. Right? Look, you're either the recruiter or the recruitee in life. You can only be one of the two. Right? And the great Pete Carroll, head coach of the Seahawks, Seattle Seahawks. Right? Recruiting is the lifeblood of any program. So you can't put anything above that. But it wouldn't matter who you had here if you don't have the right mental attitude and the work ethic. You need all those elements to come together to do something like we're doing. Guys, that's Primerica. Recruiting is the lifeblood of every business here, right? Now it starts with you, and whether you want to just build an organization on investments or an insurance, right? Or you want to build a huge company in overrides. It is the lifeblood of any program. You cannot put anything above that. All answers are given when you recruit, right? I saw a training that I put together maybe a year and a half ago, and I called it modern day slavery. And I'm not gonna go obviously through everything, but I do want to cover this slide here. And this is from information and videos and the SoundCloud that I hear of some of the greatest recruiters in our company, right? And it talks about capitalism. We live, number one, in a capitalistic society. This is a free enterprise system. And if you're not capitalizing on that, I don't know what to tell you, right? Check this out. Number one, understand the deck is stacked against the employee, period. When this whole W-2 system was created, it was created by the benefit, it was created by business owners for the benefit and use of business owners. It wasn't designed for the employee. It wasn't designed to help you put yourself in a better position. Capitalism was designed by business owners for the benefit and use of business owners. Two ways to get paid: wages, right? Active income, salary, hourly, or commission. And in two of those cases, someone else dictates your worth. I have a good friend of mine who I coach my kids with in football, and he's in pharmaceutical sales. I was just chatting with him. He's a client of ours. He's going to be investing some money. And I was just chatting with him how the pharmaceutical industry is no longer the same as it used to be, right? They're laying a lot of people off, some of the top salespeople. He said, luckily, I was able to get into corporate and be a trainer. So he goes, I get paid, I make less money, but at least I have something stable. Do you know how wrong that thinking is? Right? The one of the things in earning commissions when it comes to, people think that because you're in real estate or you're in pharmaceutical sales or in a corporation where you're the sales rep, that's changing too. There are limitations in that. Ultimately, someone else will dictate your worth. They don't want you to be the top sales rep and make them more money than the actual managers. You think they like that? No, they're going to change something. You know, and if you're working at Walmart for $10 an hour, I was just talking to, I did an appointment with one of my agents, one of my stud agents, Carmen, yesterday, and we were talking to a friend of hers, a single mom of 4 kids. Her oldest is 19, who now also has a 1-year-old. She's, again, on her own. She's been on her own forever. She works at Popeyes, right? I was trying to get the hook up there, right? But she works at Popeyes, and you love that. Yeah, I got you, bro. If you come up here, I got you, homie, right? And we were just, I went through the presentation, and I can sense it. It almost like, the impact wasn't there, right? And I'm trying to lift her spirits. I'm trying to talk through her. And we were going over, when I really noticed, it was right after I went over the compound interest slide, right? To me, if you don't get 1.3 million from 84,000 that you invest yourself relative to putting it in the bank, there's something wrong with you. And she had no response to it, right? I said, man, 1.3 million. And I said, what do you think about it? She goes, okay. Like, it's almost like it didn't create anything. And I stopped Dante, I stopped the presentation. What the hell am I going to continue presenting? There is something missing there. And I decided, for Carmen's sake, the trainee, to really just dive into it a little bit more. Talk to her a little bit more. Ask more very thought-provoking questions. And as I started to do that, I started to break down the defense that was there naturally. Spanish mom, right? This was a Spanish appointment. And you got to understand, right? I understand my community. I understand my people. And she was just beaten down by life, is how we got to it. We got down to the nitty gritty. And ultimately, she just felt from the conversation that there was nothing else for her but living a life like that. The sad part is what? You transcend that down